Hello everybody and welcome to the second Android development tutorial. So I've gone ahead and already created the project here. I've just called it lesson 2 and I created it in pretty much the exact same way that we did in the previous video. So we're going to start off here by importing the logging module again. So import android.util.log and then we're going to be modifying this block of code here. So last time we talked a lot about the different types of variables, but we didn't really talk about how to use them. So in order to use them, well, we'll start off by creating a variable. I'm just going to make an int called x and set it equal to 25. Now, in order to use variables, we use these things called operators. So operators are a thing borrowed from math. So there are 5 basic operators, 4 of which are, well, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Exactly what you'd expect. And then this 5th one is one that's not really dealt with in most math classes, but it's the modulo operator, sometimes called mod. So essentially with this these first 4 work the same way they do in math class. So addition just adds, subtraction subtracts, multiplication multiplies, and division divides. Now this modulo operator calculates the remainder of division. So if we wanted to print out, so log.d, let's put something here, message, and then remember to print out a variable. It's string dot value of, and then we pass in the variable we're printing out. So if we print out x mod 3, well, that's going to be 25 mod 3. So 25 divided by 3 is 8 with a remainder of 1. So we expect this to print out 1. So let's go ahead and run this. Yep, there it is, right there, 1. All right. And then in addition to this, well, actually, let's say we wanted to go ahead and compute that outside of this log. So if we say x equals x mod 3, what we're going to do is we're going to calculate x mod 3, so that's 1 like it is here, and then we're going to store that back in x, and then we'll just print out x. Well, this is kind of verbose and a little bit redundant. So see that we said x here twice. Well, that's very inconvenient, and we can't have that. So we have these convenience operators. So instead of saying x, for example, equals x plus 2, we can say x plus equals 2. And instead of saying x minus equals 4, we can, or instead of saying x equals x minus 4, we can say x minus equals 4. And so this kind of does the same thing up here. So instead of saying x equals x mod 3, we can say x mod equals 3. Right? So that's equivalent. All right. So that pretty much covers all of operators. So now we're going to move on to arrays. Now, an array is an ordered list of, well, it can be anything. It can be any type of data. So maybe we have a list of numbers, maybe the Fibonacci sequence, for instance. So the way that we would create an array filled with the Fibonacci numbers is to say what type of data the array will contain. So maybe we'll use ints because those are nice. Then you'll have an open square bracket and a closed square bracket, and then we'll give it a name. So I'm going to call it fib because Fibonacci is long, and set that equal to, and then it's going to be an open closed curly bracket and a semicolon at the end of the line. So then between these curly brackets, you put the elements of this ordered list of this array, and they're separated by commas. So maybe we start off with 1 and 1. And then we have 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. So in the Fibonacci sequence, you calculate the next term by adding together the two from before it. So I could keep going much longer. I could say 21 and 34, but that's not necessary. So now maybe we want to access one of the Fibonacci numbers. So we'll say, well, log.d, and then string.value of. Now let's say we want to get this 5 out of this array. Well, you might think, oh, then we'll just calculate, or we'll just count forwards. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's the 5th one in the array. Well, the first one is actually at 0. So this is the 0th element of the array. This is the first, this is the second, this is the third, and this is the 4th. So the way that you access this is with fib, so the name of the array. Then you'll have an open square bracket and a closed square bracket, and between those square brackets you put the index. So we wanted the 5, so that's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. We want to put 4 right here. All right, so now if we run this, we would expect to see 4. Oh, right, we expect to see 5 because that's the value of the 5th element of the array. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the value of the element at the 4th index in fib is 5. So now this kind of extends very nicely the idea of the char. So maybe we have a char array. Call it H and set it equal to, well, a bunch of chars. H, E, L, L, O, like that. Well, that's nice. Well, there's actually already something convenient that does this. It's called a string. So we can actually say, instead of saying this, we can say string HE equals HELLO. And now when we go to print it out, we can just say log.d message hello. And that's actually what that was. So before, when we had log.d string.value of, and then whatever, maybe it was 5. Essentially what that's doing is that it's taking 5 and it's converting it to a string. And so here, instead of having to do a char array, we can just have a string. So it's more for convenience, because typing out something like this is just not very fun, not a good use of time. And so we have this convenience data type. It's not one of the what are called primitive data types. Those were what we went over last time. It's actually just sort of it's a fancy way of describing this. So these two are essentially equivalent, and then there's some extra features that you get when you use a string. Now that's it for content for today, so I'm going to go ahead and delete all of this. And I'd like you to tell me what, well, actually have your computer tell you what the value of 137 mod 21 is. All right, so pause the video, figure that out, and then press play. All right, so now we're going to say log.d, and then we're going to pass in string.value of, and then 137 mod, what was it, 21? All right, and we'll run that. Just another second. 11. All right, I'll take my computer's word for it. Now tell me how you would set x equal to, or set an integer x equal to 35 and then add 17 to it. All right, press pause, figure it out, and then come back. All right, so we have int x equal to 35, and then we're going to say x plus equals 17, and that should do it. All right, now create an array with the even numbers from 0 to 10. All right, here we go. Int even equals 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Like that. All right. And now create a string saying Android is awesome and call it truth. All right, here we go. String truth equals Android is awesome. Like that. All right, well, that's it for today.